The New York Rangers have made another major trade here, this time moving away from their former second overall pick in a deal that sent Kaapo Kakko over to the Seattle Kraken for 2 draft picks as well as defenseman Will Borgen. So in today's video, we're going to kind of break this trade down here and dive into both sides of it here, trading away Kakko and kind of what that means, as well as kind of what we got in return as well, because I think this trade is interesting, but is it actually what's right for this team going forward into the future? I'm not quite sure on that. So we'll take a look at this kind of trade as a whole and kind of break things down from both sides in today's video. So starting off here, getting rid of Kakko, I personally am not a fan of it. Honestly, I did not want to see Kakko get traded away. I am someone who likes Kakko on this team. I thought he would be a nice guy to have around for the long-term kind of future. Him being a good kind of two-way winger there, good defensively. Him and Cooley were a great, defensive kind of wing pair there for a long time to begin this season, especially when they didn't allow like a single goal together. Him and Cooley, when they were playing together at 5-on-5 for a very long time. So they were guys who obviously played great together. Kakko has produced at a very good level, at 5-on-5, at even strength so far this season, which is great to see. He's got that good defensive game, and that's what you kind of want out of a third line kind of winger there. I think he plays that role really well, and he is definitely not the issue, on this team so far this season. And with him getting benched and healthy scratch there against St. Louis Blues the other night, there were some kind of rumors on whether or not a trade would happen. Obviously, he played a bit there against the Predators. We lose that game as well. And then a trade happens here. And obviously, Kakko did have some words to say, kind of questioning, Laviolette's decision there to obviously take him out of the lineup, which I agree with Kakko on. I mean, I was surprised that he got taken out as well, kind of like what Kakko said there. And I didn't think it was the right decision. I don't understand why Kakko got taken out over other guys, who have been playing worse than him. And I think pretty clearly have been playing worse. And Kevin Weeks did post on X after this trade did come out saying, per sources, I'm told the Kakko trade was in no way connected to his comments yesterday. New York Rangers like and respect him. He's a pending RFA and 1 year away from UFA. This move is best for both sides. They wish him nothing but the best. And I disagree. I mean, I don't think this is what's best for both sides. Maybe the Rangers feel that's what's best for them, but personally, I don't think that's what's best for us. I think Kakko should stay on this team, and I kind of feel like maybe what he said definitely does have a little bit of a part into kind of what happened here. I mean, I just think the timing's a little interesting, and maybe it's because of the benching, and I don't know exactly kind of why, obviously, some of the background stuff there, but I do think this is a bad trade here. I'm going to be honest. First off here, before we dive into the kind of stuff that we got back, I don't like this trade. I definitely don't like it. I don't think it's the worst trade Drew's made, but I definitely don't like this move at all. And I do think we should have just kept Kakko here. I would have much rather kept Kakko. Obviously, with him being 1 year away from UFA status, if he signed a 1 year deal per se, he'd obviously hit UFA status, kind of like what Lindgren did, this past offseason, signing a 1 year deal, being able to hit UFA status. So, maybe that's what Kakko would try and do. But either way, Kakko is a guy who I wanted to see on this team long term. But unfortunately, we're not going to see that. And I think we didn't get enough value back in return. If we were to trade away Kakko there, he would have been a nice guy to kind of, pair alongside Ikea Miller this offseason. And, a first round pick and another prospect to go out there and try and get a really good kind of star level kind of guy, superstar possibly kind of player. So, it is what it is. All in all, we still have some assets to go out there and get those kind of guys, but Kakko could have been a nice piece if we wanted to trade him away in a bigger kind of deal, because I think he does have decent value, and I definitely don't think we got him at peak value, even for where he's been at, so far this season as a whole. I don't love the value we got back, and if this truly was the best value out there, then I really do think we should have just kept him, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He's been traded away now, and as Rangers fans, we have to live with that whether we like that or not. So definitely comment down below. The video's not over here, but definitely comment down below kind of your thoughts on this trade and if you like it or not. But carrying on now and kind of talking about more on the kind of what we got in return on that side of things here. And, I think it's okay, but it's definitely not great. And like I said, I really would have just rather kept Kakko. So basically what we get back in return here is, like you saw at the start of the video, Will Borgen, a 2025 third-round pick from the Kraken, as well as a 2025 sixth-round pick. So third and a sixth round pick, that's all right. I mean, we have drafted somewhat well, but obviously in the past few drafts here, we have some decent prospects. So we've kind of gotten in the mid to later rounds. So we're looking like somewhat promising prospects. But for the most part, we still have to wait until they break through. Now, Adam Edstrom, he's a good example of that. He was a, later round pick. He's obviously kind of turned out to be pretty good there. Rempe has been a later round pick as well. He's had a bit of an impact, but we don't have any kind of, true kind of high-end impact guys yet. Now, Berard, he is kind of on the end of that there. So maybe there are a couple of guys, but, a third and sixth round pick, it's not the greatest value for what Kakko can bring. Now, we also did get a defenseman in Will Borgen, who not the best guy to get back in return, in my opinion. Like I've been talking about in the recent videos, I don't want to go after rentals. I don't think that's what this team needs. And what does Drury do? He does what he loves to do and trades for a rental. And that's something that I really don't like. Now, it's not like this is someone who's going to, need to have a massive raise in kind of what he's making right now. Wanted to bring him back this upcoming summer. He's making $2.7 million right now. I don't know if I want to pay him much more than that. So if he's looking to get a raise, then I definitely would rather see him walk at this point. Will Borgen, in my opinion, is more of a kind of bottom pairing defenseman. He can kill, some penalties here and there. Not the greatest, overall defenseman. Nothing special at all offensively. So far this season only has 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist in 33 games played. Last season had 25 points in 82 games played. Season before that, 20 points in 82 games played. So he's not much of an offense guy. This season is not having a good season at all, really, for his standards, honestly. Dash 13 as well. Just not playing the greatest overall. His takeaway giveaway ratio, although it's not the greatest stat to look at, is pretty much the worst of his career. There is pretty terrible right now as well. He is a fairly physical guy, which is quite nice. There we can use some physicality, but he's not some crazy physical guy, and obviously isn't going to bring the greatest overall defensive impact or puck moving impact. So I think there are some negatives to his game for sure. Him being a UFA as well isn't ideal. Him making $2.7 million, though, how much of a raise he's going to get, I don't know. When do the Rangers even want to bring him back? He is, a right-handed defenseman, 6'3". I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But in my opinion, like I said, I think he's a bottom pairing defenseman. I would not really want to bring him back on anything more than 2.7, or maybe even at that, I probably wouldn't want to bring him back on. So I don't really like this trade at all. He's a fine, depth guy, but, going after rental isn't the best in my opinion. And, a third and a sixth round pick, maybe that ends up working out for us. But, unless we're trading, those assets away, or, you kind of using them in a trade this upcoming offseason or at the deadline to, get something back, those assets aren't going to really help us for at least a few years. So it really isn't the greatest trade here. I don't like this deal, honestly, in my opinion. I think Kakko would have been better served, in his value, staying on this team here, being an asset in that middle six there on this team for years to come. Would have been a nice guy to try and lock up, somewhat long-term on a possibly decently team-friendly deal potentially, or at least kind of sign him on a, hopefully, like would have been, 4 or 5 year deal, maybe 3, 4 or 5 year deal, and kind of bring him back on at least a decent contract there and just kind of keep him, because I do think he would have been a really nice player to keep around long term. I think that middle six value that they can provide there, especially being a third line role, that good defensive game, he obviously is showing it this season that he can produce at a good level 5-on-5. I think would have been a really nice guy to keep around on that third line. Although we do have some nice prospects coming up here who can play on wings and stuff like that, I do think he'd been a nice guy to have around long term. He still is very young as well. But Will Borgen coming over alongside a third and a sixth round pick for the former second overall pick. Not the greatest return that we've ever seen. And definitely, in my opinion, I would say this is an L of a trade, if you want to call it that, for Chris Drury. But, overall, it is what it is. This is a trade that happened here, and this is what we have to live with as Rangers fans. So hopefully we see some more trades happen. I think we definitely need to see some more stuff happen. Hopefully some better trades if they do happen here, because in my opinion, I do think Chris Drury lost this trade. But anyways, definitely comment down below your thoughts on this trade in the comment section down below, and the New York Rangers as a whole. Do you think the Rangers won this trade, lost it? Do you like Will Borgen? Do you hate him? Do you like the draft picks we got back? Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.